Hey everybody, Jorey Herrscher here. So today I'm telling a story, right? And in the story I get to a point where I need to explain what happens to somebody with PTSD when they get a smell or a sight or a memory or something, and it brings back all the emotional baggage from a previous emotional trauma. And I get to the word triggering, right? And as the word triggering comes to me, I don't want to say it, and I kind of made that face, and I said, I hate this word, but I couldn't think of a better word, so I said, when you trigger, and the person who I was talking to said, why was it so hard to say that word? I mean, that's a pretty common word these days, and I said, yeah, but I hate the word. I hate the word triggering. It brings up such negative connotations to it, and they asked me why, and I didn't really know why, so I thought about this a lot today, and I want to do the video on it. The reason that the word triggering triggers me so badly, the reason I hate it so badly is because the word has been stolen, right? It's been stolen by people who consciously decide to take offense to something, and then they call it triggering. That's not what triggering is, okay? So consciously taking offense to something is consciously taking offense to it. And when you say that person triggered me, what you're doing is you're putting the blame for your reaction on somebody else. You see, I can't offend you, right? Nobody can offend you. You take offense yourself for something that somebody said. And so when somebody talks about that person triggered me, no, they didn't. They said something that you took offense to, and you're blaming it on someone other than yourself. That's why I think that bothers me. It's been stolen. So what is triggering really? Triggering for real is when there is a sight, a sound, a smell, a memory, something hits that makes you go back to an emotionally traumatic incident, right? And so you end up typically overreacting to the situation in front of you because you're reacting to all of the emotional baggage from that previous traumatic incident. So that happens with people with PTSD, with depression, anxiety, with acute stress disorder. That happens to us on occasion. And I don't like that it's been hijacked and stolen and used for people to basically not take responsibility for their own actions, right? Their own decision to take offense to something. So I actually had an educated person. It was someone in academia say, you need to be careful how you tell your story because you could trigger people. And it bothered me for a couple reasons. One, because part of what I do is I train people, I teach people to not get triggered by those things, right? I teach you how to appropriately handle your emotions so that doesn't happen to you. It doesn't take that ability away from you. And second of all, most of the time when people trigger, really they're just throwing a fit, right? These are people who are wanting to take offense or wanting to have some sort of attention brought to them, and so they throw a fit and they call it triggering. That's not triggering. That's what it's become today, but that's not what it really is. So anyway, that's what bothered me about it. Look, if you trigger over things, right, things trigger you. Like one of my triggers used to be opposition, right? I've got 4 kids, and opposition triggered me because when I was a police officer, opposition meant that I wasn't safe. Okay, that's a true trigger, and I was able to deal with that. If you have things that trigger you, there are ways to deal with it. There's ways to make it better. There's ways to get it so that maybe it still brings up some anxiety in you, but you're able to handle it. And you can stop putting the blame in other people's hands, right? People don't trigger you, events do, your own memory does. So let's take responsibility for that. Let's internalize it and let's fix it so it doesn't happen anymore, rather than blaming it on outside sources. So anyway, that's what I want to talk about today. My name is Jorey Herrscher. I'm a trauma-informed life coach, and I am a public speaker, and I'm trying to get rid of the stigma behind PTSD, anxiety, and talk about suicide prevention so that it can stop happening. So if you have any questions, comments, please put them in the comments down below. Please share this. Let's get this to as many people as we can. And I am finishing up my calendar for December and starting in January. If you are interested in having me come and speak to your school, your work, whatever it might be, contact me on here. I would love to come and do it. So be safe. Talk to you soon.